Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter episode of RWBY Volume 5, which is on chapter episode 13. This chapter episode was actually pretty cool, not too bad, and very nice. Oh yeah, I would just want to give you guys a little small apology for my last video of RWBY for spoiling everyone on that thumbnail. I really apologize. I don't need you to forgive me. I just want you to know that I'm really sorry. I should have known that RWBY is known to be a very sensitive series that no one doesn't want to get spoiled on because of how exciting and entertaining it is, etc. But yeah. Aside from that, this chapter episode was actually pretty cool. So, looking forward to giving you guys a recap. And I'll be sure that the thumbnail won't be too much of a spoilers, if anything, etc. That's the reason why it took a little bit long to try to find one. So, if anything else, let's go. We have to it that after the opening, obviously, that RWBY, on the other hand, and Yang takes on Mercury and Emerald, and Mercury disarms RWBY, and Mercury was trying to hit RWBY, but RWBY just headbutts him and says, "What are you gonna do now, huh?" After he disarms RWBY, but RWBY headbutts him, like I said, and says, anything to make you shut up or something. And we have to it that John is actually helping out, like, Weiss to the best of his ability, and Nora thanks John for activating his semblance, etc. And of course, John's like, "What are you talking about? This is my semblance?" And Nora's like, "How else are you, like, helping Weiss, you dummy?" And John's like, "I don't think I'm healing her. I think it's like the aura I'm, like, transferring to her or something. I don't know what it is exactly, but whatever the case may be, it's helping Weiss out." But aside from that, it looks like Ren is literally being pummeled pretty badly. And we have to it that John tells Nora to go on ahead, while John and Weiss has a little moment, which I ship those two, honestly, for some reason. Despite Weiss turning John down in the first place. But aside from that, we have to it that Nora comes in and managed to, like, maybe stop, Hazel's rampage a bit. But we have to it that Hazel does not know that electricity really makes Nora stronger, and Nora just flips him over when he grabs her by the head and grabs her by the head. We have to it that Ozpin and Oscar's body tells Nora that Hazel's semblance is to block out pain. That's why he's able to absorb so much dust into his body. And no wonder he's a capable fighter, because you block out pain, that's gonna allow you to fight for long periods of time. But I am pretty sure that once you stop blocking out pain, it's gonna hurt, like, real bad. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And we have to it that Nora tells Ozpin, like, "I don't need him to feel pain. I just need him to go down," and just slammed him with her hammer and flew him out of the freaking building, dude. It was just awesome. And we have to it that Adam asks Hazel, "What's going on here?" And we have to it that Hazel says, "Nothing. You just handle your business, I'll handle mine." And he ends up using more dust into his body and ends up powering up or something. And we have to it that that Adam gets ready to, like, get his subordinates for all-out, like, destruction in Haven. But we have to it that Blake shows up and tells him to stop. And Adam says, "I didn't know you were going to deliver yourself here to me." And we have to it that Blake says, "I can't stop you alone." And we have to it that a lot of Faunus, and along with Sun, Gira, and Gira's wife, or Blake's mother, shows up with the Mistral police. We have to it that things are starting to go real good into their favor. And Adam's like, "How the hell are you doing this?" And we have to it that he tries to do a suicide bomb area to destroy all of Haven. But apparently it does not work because of, thanks to Ilya's help, you know? And it was pretty slick and awesome, honestly. And we have to it that Adam asks Hazel, "What do we do now?" And Hazel's like, "This is your business, man. Solve it." I'm just laughing so hard. Adam, dude, you are one Dumbo. You know that? We have to it that Blake tells Adam that it's over. Adam gets really upset about this and tries to strike Blake, but Blake uses her semblance to dodge him and hits him out. We have to it that Adam therefore tells his White Fang members to fight, and the White Fang members, which is like a couple, like, members to many, are fighting. We have to it that Hazel gets stabbed by Weiss's semblance of a glyph, and Therefore, Blake has a small reunion with with Ruby, Yang, and Weiss, but not for too long. Blake just stares at them and is actually surprised to see him there. And we have to it that Blake would handle her own business while Yang goes after her mother, while Mercury tries to stop her, but thanks to Yang's development of not having anger get to her, along with letting go of her arm or something, y'all know what I'm talking about, she goes after her mother down the elevator. While Mercury and Emerald ends up being blocked by Weiss's semblance. While Ruby tells Blake while Mercury and Emerald gets blocked by Weiss's semblance. Yeah, sorry. Sorry if I messed that up. While Ruby tells Blake to handle her own business outside, Blake decides to go outside and handle the White Fae. We have to it that Cinder therefore tells Raven, you know, the Spring Maiden must have trusted you a great deal when she transferred her power to you before she died. That's a mistake. And therefore Raven and Cinder clash against each other. And we have to it that Cinder does have a disadvantage in a certain sense, that her arm, on her left arm, if anything, seems to affect her. While Raven tells Cinder your aura can't protect your arm. It's grim. You literally turned yourself into a monster for power. And therefore Cinder says, look who's talking. I'm thinking in my mind, Cinder girl, you are a true monster. Raven, she trains for her strength, and yeah, she's been given the Spring Maiden's powers. I can't deny that. So yeah, we have to it that when they clash against each other, they seem to be on literal equal grounds, etc. And we have to it that Cinder actually almost got Raven into a corner, but thanks to Raven's taking advantage of the debris, she managed to get herself out of it. And we have to it that Raven eventually managed to push Cinder into a corner and asked her if she had enough yet. And we have to it that Vanal distracted her a bit, and Raven dealt a major blow to her face. Her mask comes off, and we get to know that I thought that she lost an eye, but I guess her eyes closed, but I think she lost an eye. But you guys know what I'm talking about if you watched the chapter or episode. Let's just say Raven took advantage of Vanal's distraction a bit, managed to deal a blow to Cinder's face, breaks off her mask, and it seems like her eye is closed, but with a lot of scarring, etc. You all know what I'm talking about. But aside from that, Raven uses the Spring Maiden's powers, or etc., to freeze her up, and she falls down into the endless abyss. Which I go you sure you want to leave her like that for good? Because sometimes because I know Cinder is going to break out of there eventually. I mean, it will be ice or something, but it doesn't really matter, because we have to, of course we all know that Raven broke out of Cinder's ice no problem. We all know that. And as for Cinder, I'm pretty sure she could do the same. So I'm pretty sure that this is not the last time we see of Cinder. But to see her being defeated by Raven just shows that even though she was skilled, she is not really too much of a match for Raven herself in close hand-to-hand combat, and possibly much more, depending who has trained for their powers much more. As for Raven, she literally mourns Vernal's death and thanks her for her cooperation the entire time, etc. And we have to it that Raven opens the door and looks at a place that looks like a desert, honestly. And the relic I think I saw in this picture looked like it's pretty green or something, or maybe something different color. And we have to it that Raven was about to enter and take the relic, but she is later on stopped by the appearance of her daughter right there, and the episode ends off. I'm thinking in my mind, okay, I wonder how this is gonna go, because we all know Yang and Raven have this sour bitterness towards each other. We all know that, but we're gonna have to find out from here on out. So yeah, overall, thought the episode was pretty slick. Looking forward to the next one. Hopefully, it will look pretty good. So yeah, this episode chapter does involve Blake showing up, and of course Ruby, Yang, and the others like holding off against Salem's forces for a bit longer. And the fight between like Raven and Cinder was actually pretty cool. What I really liked about is that Raven and Cinder were like equal grounds with each other, but eventually Raven, I guess as a more experienced fighter or a huntress, I don't know who trained the most and got the mastery of their abilities, etc. It seems pretty slick. Eventually, you know, one distraction gave Raven the advantage, and Raven ends up freezing Cinder down to the abyss. And I'm pretty sure Cinder will break out of that ice unless she really falls down to the endless abyss and shatters or something. That will be ridiculous because Cinder has too much of a big role to play. We all know that. I don't want her to end. I don't want her role or villain or antagonist role to end here, despite the crazy, stupid, evil garbage she's done. Okay, I'll be honest with that because I'm pretty sure she has a big role to play eventually, but we'll have to see. So until then, I will see you guys in my next video. So I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace out. Bye bye. Toodaloo.